Apparently I can't film sideways like this. That's interesting. Okay, today we're going to do another quick activation. So this is a practical way to use myrtle oil for emotional support, and it's basically the same thing that we did last time in a lot of ways, because the point is at a similar location. It's like, I don't remember exactly, I think it's about an inch above the belly button, but if you just put some, kind of rub it around above your belly button, you're gonna hit the point for myrtle oil. And you'll remember from last time that the first thing is to take into account how you relate to the emotion that the oil deals with, okay? So for myrtle, the emotion is suppressing life, okay? So the important thing to remember when you're processing, okay, how do I identify with this, is that life is not just good things. So it's not just suppressing good things, it's suppressing bad things that are hard to deal with or that you don't have an answer for. And I think that for myrtle, one of the biggest indications for using it emotionally is having things that it feels like, well, there's nothing I can do about that. I can't change this situation, so I have to distract myself from it. And the problem with that is that you can't just distract from something and actually heal it or restore it, okay? So Dr. Caroline Leaf shared this quote today or yesterday, I don't know, that I thought was perfect for this. It says, "The work of restoration cannot begin until a problem is fully faced." So in order to fully face the problem, we have to basically make contact, which is the positive side of the emotion that myrtle deals with, is contact. We have to make contact with things even if there's pain in it. So it's not just about contact in the sense of contact with people, like connection, because that's there, but we have to be willing to kind of make contact with that issue to identify what it is. Whether we want it or not, we are attached to that issue and it's eating us up. But sometimes you have to let something touch that place of hurt or isolation or loneliness or hardship, sadness, despair, feelings, or panic, loss, confusion. Sometimes you have to let something make contact with that so that you can see it for what it is and then change the thinking around that thing. And the problem is that it's hard. So as you start changing how you feel about something that you really wish you could just push down because it's really, really painful, it's hard because we know we're going to have to feel that thing some, and we're going to have to make contact with it in order to change it. And the thing that we have to remember through all of that is that there's hope after you make contact with it, that it's going to change, but you can't change something that you don't make contact with, okay? And the other thing to remember is that you have to make contact with the right source, or that issue is just going to get worse and bring friends, okay? So it's not just about making contact with yourself, it's about going inside where something much, much, much bigger and more powerful to change it is, and making contact with him so that then he regenerates it and changes it, okay? So just to kind of repeat the list of things that are examples of things you might suppress without realizing it, and you'll want to spend some time thinking about this, because I mean, the first time I saw suppressing life, I didn't totally identify with that. It took me a while to figure out what that looked like. But it's like when we suppress or push down pain because we don't know how to deal with it, loneliness, and we aren't sure how to deal with that, either because we don't know why we're lonely, or we don't know what it is about us that makes it difficult to connect, or we aren't sure how to make other people want to connect with us, you know. So sometimes that's something that gets pushed down. Hardship and struggle, things that we go through that we don't know how to share with people or how to invite people to walk through with us, because there's so many reasons, because of guilt, because of shame, because of thinking I'm about to get it pulled together, because of, I don't know, because of thinking that if we talk about it after we have it pulled together, it will serve someone, but it doesn't serve anybody else yet, so it's not good to talk about it. And that's a huge deception. We can't wait to be open until we have it figured out, because that's actually a huge root of pride, and it will really, really undo our ability to connect with people. Then there's panic. That's something that can get suppressed a lot, and we just kind of try to deal with things, and sometimes even panic can make us seem more energized and like we know what we're doing, but inside it's really destroying the body. And there will be a lot of physical symptoms that come with that. Depression is a huge thing that gets suppressed, because when you have felt depressed, when you've dealt with it before, you get really, really afraid of feeling it again. And so if you feel it, it kind of feels like the only thing you can do is distract yourself from it. And there are different ways to distract yourself, like helping other people, which has good in it, but when helping other people is done to distract from making contact with the Father, it's not a righteousness that he's interested in, if that makes sense. So there's you have to be careful about that line, and that's individual for everybody. But those things are difficult. These are things that we suppress because we honestly have no clue what to do about them. So don't hear this like, don't suppress it because you should know what to do. The point is actually that we have to stop suppressing so that we can learn what to do. It's not a figure it out thing. It's a let go. That's seriously all it is a let go. Because when you let go, then things flow through the way that they're supposed to. And the oils are incredible because they are one of the most quick, potent things for helping your body to release blocked up energy, where our emotions and physical toxins and all this stuff, stress, bombards us and causes things to get stagnant in the body and not move through. And so this emotion really helps just unlock stuff that we don't know what to do with, and it's causing stagnation for us physically, emotionally, and spiritually. And we can also suppress loss and confusion. So some symptoms of suppressing life might be feeling a sense of numbness when something comes to mind, or an issue kind of crops up and you're like, I don't know what to do. And depression would be a big one that you can probably relate that to, is like okay, whoa, numb it out. A desire to distract yourself from an issue can show a suppressing of life, because it's like, oh, whoa, can't deal with that. Too difficult, too much pain, not enough energy, not enough anything to deal with that. And then, like I said, the phrase, well, I can't do anything about it. So suppressing things for that reason is, I think, a frequent issue. And then when we're afraid of emotion, there can be a lot of suppression of life because we aren't sure where it's going or where it's going to take us, and so we kind of block it off. Or because, again, we feel like it won't serve someone else. And the thing is, we serve other people by thinking and having mindsets and thought patterns of truth. That's the only real way for us to serve other people, so this is really important. And then being afraid of making mistakes. Being afraid of making mistakes is a huge issue that will cause us to suppress life. And that one, man, sometimes it doesn't really feel like that ever goes away, but it's a good reason to be open and just to start using this oil and see how the Holy Spirit will show you gently and in a process and in a progress that he understands how to start doing this. So the positive word, like I said, to replace suppressing life with is contact. So that's the word that you would think about while you were smelling the oil after you put it above your belly button. You would think about the word contact, okay? And then you would say the affirmation, I regenerate, okay? We have to regenerate a lot of things. We're going to regenerate life. And in that process, some other things are going to come up that are going to get dealt with. We're going to regenerate a flow that is through the Spirit so that we can deal with things instead of trying to attack things physically and not dealing with them otherwise. And anyway, that's what you're going to be focusing on when you inhale the oil. So you'll have myrtle. You'll think about, what am I suppressing, and kind of maybe you can use some of the things I mentioned to help kick up what that is. If you want to journal about it, you can. And if you don't have the ability to do that, then just think about this whenever you have a chance. think about what those areas where you have been suppressing are, and then choose to make contact with them and to make contact with the only source that is going to help you work through those things. And it is not through numbing, and it's not through suppressing, okay? Because that's not life-giving. And then you're going to focus on I regenerate. And then, you, like with all the emotional oils, you can diffuse it throughout the day while you're working on this, just to keep it in the air and keep your body working through letting go of the other frequencies and toxins that this frequency will kick out, because that makes it easier to detox the stuff that comes with these emotions. If you're constantly doing a little bit of that and refreshing your body, that's really, really good. This oil also is very supportive of our endocrine system. So that's interesting, because it means that these emotions are probably connected to that system as well. So that's something to think about if you've been wanting to support your endocrine system more, is that this could be part of kind of a protocol for you to do that. So I hope that this is helpful. This is our activation for Myrtle oil for October's Emotional Wellness Key, and I hope that this helps you guys out. Bye.